Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Welcome into the 48 Fastcast. I'm your digital host, Tatiana White, and I hope you all are having a great week so far. A home was destroyed after a fire this morning in Limestone County. This was the scene on Bill Walker Road around 8:30 this morning. That's between Athens and Ardmore, northeast of the Piney Chapel area. There was no water access in this area, so firefighters had to haul water in. One firefighter on scene told our crew they think the house could have been saved if there had been a hydrant nearby. East Limestone and Ardmore responded to the scene. The Supreme Court has weighed in to Alabama's redistricting fight. Last night, in a 6-3 ruling, the court told Alabama to use its old congressional maps in this year's election. These are the exact same maps that these exact same 9 justices ruled unconstitutional in 2023, but they argue that a new ruling in a different case last month now makes the map acceptable. The maps change the boundaries of 4 different districts in South and Central Alabama, making it virtually impossible for a Democrat to win in 3 of them. Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen praised the ruling last night.
We fought long and hard to get this ruling, and we're so very proud to have it. And it means a lot for the state of Alabama. It means a lot for our people. And we're excited to have this case go our way from the United States Supreme Court.
Right now, Alabama has 2 Democrats and 5 Republicans in the U.S. House. This map would change Congressman Shamari Figurs' district into a much more Republican-friendly voter base. Last night, Figurs said the ruling had effectively kills the Voting Rights Act and says it legalized political discrimination against minorities. He added, quote, "Too many people fought and sacrificed for me to have the opportunity to serve in Congress for me to just walk away." He called for voters to turn out this November to make their voices heard. And Jada, we have a lot of sunshine today instead of the week of storms and rain that we have had so far. So how long can we expect this nice weather to last?
Thankfully, we're going to see this throughout most of the week here, but as we start to get to the weekend, we start to get back into those rain chances. All around going into the next day, we could see some patchy fog here and there for a few areas in the next couple of days, but not too much of a widespread issue. And then another expectation is to kind of see some humidity fall back into the forecast by the time we get to the weekend. Now, rain chances will come back around for Saturday, about a 20% chance. It's not shown here, but that will happen. We are expecting to keep into those mid and upper 80s by the end of the week. And as you'll notice, going into tomorrow morning, it's going to be a touch cooler each morning for Thursday and Friday, seeing those upper and 50s. That's the expectation for that. And then, once again, I'll walk you through the entire 10-day forecast. I'm in for Brad tonight, so make sure you tune in.
Thank you, Jada. There's a desperate search underway in Japan for a missing Auburn student. James Higginbotham, also known as Weston, was traveling with his family when he disappeared on a hike. The 20-year-old was last seen in Kyoto on Friday. Family believes he went hiking in a wooded area nearby. His mother says Weston is an experienced hiker, and she wasn't worried about him going off on his own at first.
I need Japanese media contacts, and I need for people to share my post to anybody that lives in Japan. That way that they can share it to their Japanese platforms.
Local law enforcement in Japan is working on retracing Higginbotham's steps based on available surveillance video. Deadly new missile strikes in the Middle East on Tuesday, the U.S. and Iran firing shots back and forth with 2 U.S. allies paying a heavy price. The peace talks appear to be totally stalled out, and now we're left wondering if the ceasefire will hold. Here's Richard Engel.
There have been several exchanges of fire between Iran and the United States over the last several days, but this was the most severe, with The U.S. carrying out a strike on a military position in Iran, Iran firing at Bahrain and Kuwait. In Kuwait, the main airport being hit with Iranian missiles and drones, according to Kuwaiti officials. The foreign ministry saying that there was extensive damage to Terminal 1, the airport suspending flights and reporting at least one person was killed. It seems that Iran's strategy is to try and break the U.S. military blockade of Iran, the naval blockade that is blocking ships from entering or leaving Iranian ports. And Iran is attacking countries that are hosting U.S. troops. And there are a lot of American bases in both Kuwait and in Bahrain. U.S. CENTCOM says that the blockade is still in effect and that it has turned back many ships and disabled ships since the blockade began in April. Richard Engel, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
The renewed attacks have sent oil prices surging this morning. Prices are once again ticking up towards $100 a barrel. The recent price drops we've seen were mostly based on hope and optimism that a deal to end the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz was coming soon. Now that we've seen a setback, prices are expected to climb even higher than before. Experts are saying that now is the time to top off. The rising prices haven't trickled down to the gas stations yet. Here in Alabama, prices are still falling for now. Regular unleaded is now down 2 more cents overnight to $3.89 a gallon. We are less than 2 weeks away from Alabama's runoff election, with turnout expected to be low. Every single vote counts. That's why some of the top candidates in major races were in Marshall County last night, looking to make an impression on voters in this growing county. Candidates for Lieutenant Governor and Attorney General were there, but the big draw of the night were Jared Hudson and Barry Moore. They're running to replace Tommy Tuberville in the Senate. Marshall County native Steve Marshall was left out of this runoff, and both men say they're hoping Marshall's voters will join their campaign.
Places like Marshall County right here where Steve is from originally and where the majority of, he got the majority of the vote in this county. So making sure that we still go to every single county, we still meet voters where they are, we talk about the issues that matter, not the howl at the moon issues, but really the issues that are, hey, I can't afford to put food on my table, or I can't afford my electric bill this month.
Hudson's opponent agrees that picking up former Steve Marshall supporters could be the difference between winning and losing this race. He said President Trump's endorsement should speak for itself.
Important. I've been with him for a long time, but the president has seen me in the fight for 5.5 years, and so it's important to have him on our team. We've been with him. He knows that.
The runoff is set for June 16th. Meanwhile, there is a renewed investigation into whether Tommy Tuberville is eligible to run for governor. Some of Tuberville's Republican opponents claim he has not lived in Alabama long enough or consistently enough to qualify. This week, Tuberville released redacted tax returns dating back to 2018. Tuberville says the tax documents support his claims that he has met the state's residency requirement. The dispute is headed to a final hearing on Sunday, June 14th. The Supreme Court is expected to make rulings on several cases that could potentially reshape fundamental principles of our country. The first is a petition from the Trump administration to end birthright citizenship. Opponents say the Constitution is clear on this, and the court should not even be entertaining the argument. The White House says the Constitution has been misinterpreted for more than 150 years on the issue. The other cases would give the president more power to fire independent government officials and severely limit mail-in voting. California voters went to the polls in a unique jungle primary on Tuesday. That means no party lines. All the candidates running for a position are in the same race together, and the top 2 will square off in November. The results are still being tallied, but Republicans have some things to celebrate so far. Here's Reed Binion.
June primaries are notoriously lower turnout, but this one is trending above that norm.
Election officials in California expecting to tally a higher than normal turnout in this year's primary elections held Tuesday. 6 states held primaries Tuesday, but the elections in the Golden State captured a lot of interest, 2 in particular. The race for mayor of Los Angeles, America's second largest city, and of course the gubernatorial primary for a chance to lead the most populous state in the nation after term-limited Governor Gavin Newsom leaves office. As expected, that crowded primary saw 3 top contenders emerge in early election night returns. Trump-backed political commentator Steve Hilton, billionaire Democratic activist Tom Steyer, and former Biden administration Health Secretary Javier Becerra. Early returns also supported expectations in the Los Angeles mayoral primary, with 3 contenders emerging. Current Mayor Karen Bass running for re-election, Republican former reality TV star Spencer Pratt, and Democratic Socialist LA City Council member Nithya Raman. Bass projected to advance to the general election.
It's looking good so far, and I am so glad to be here with everyone.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Local graphic designers and social media managers are sounding the alarm on AI slop, why they believe human touch is still necessary. And if you have a Ford and may be recalled, stick around to see which ones are causing issues. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the 48 Fastcast. New this afternoon, Ford is recalling 420,000 cars, saying there's a serious seatbelt issue. This impacts some 2018 to 2022 Lincoln Navigators and Ford Expeditions. The seatbelts may lock inadvertently, leaving them stuck. Ford says at least one person was hurt. Owners will get a notice in the mail with more information and instructions. Ford is also urgently recalling some sport models of their Bronco and Maverick SUVs. We're told these vehicles have faulty parts connecting the wheel to the frame that may fail. If those parts fail, the car will almost immediately crash with little the driver can do to save it. The vehicles impacted our 2021 to 2026 models. If you're not sure if this impacts you, any local Ford dealer will inspect your vehicle for free. Repairs are also free if you have this problem. You probably see AI design flyers and graphics on social media daily, and you can likely tell the difference between something done by a computer versus an image designed by a professional. Graphic designers and social media managers are pushing against the work that's been dubbed AI slop. Many times the use of AI is a budgetary decision, and even graphic artists say it can be a useful tool, but they're also seeing the public response getting louder with more people speaking out against AI images.
I do think that it's becoming easier to spot AI imagery. The public does not always respond positively to that.
It's not that it can't make something that looks good-ish, but if you are a graphic designer, you understand why it looks good, and you know the components and the elements and how it all works together.
You can see Sarah Grace Kennedy's full report right now on the 48 News app. And Jada, the weather is finally giving us a much needed break from all of the rain, but some of that rain could come back over the weekend. So what's the latest that you can give for the forecast over the next few days?
So right now we are in a good spot with our forecast. It's just the rain chances that start Saturday, roughly around a 30% chance of some showers. Haven't seen anything that leads and points to severe weather, but as we know, we live in the state of Alabama. Things can change on a dime here. But here's what we're looking at for your next couple of days ahead into the weekend, seeing some mid 80s sticking around. The rain chances that we anticipate to see, though, expecting a lot of it to pick up as we get into Sunday and Monday, and that's the bigger concern going into the next week. We're going to see those rain chances come back in, kind of do a little bit of a rinse and repeat because we expect to see things dry back out around Wednesday and Thursday. So that's the expectation going into the next few days. Here's a look at your 10-day real fast. Biggest point to note here is that we'll see some isolated showers and storms, mainly for Sunday through Tuesday. So those on and off showers, similar to what we saw from earlier of last week, where we did kind of pick up a day or two where we had some stronger storms in the neighborhood. So keep that in mind. It'll knock our temperatures back a good deal, pushing us into the low end 80s, but we recover, getting back into the mid 80s by the end of the week. And as you can see for next Saturday, rinse and repeat central is what we're doing here. Nice showers going through the next couple of days, and then it dries back out, getting back into the thick of those showers and storms by that point. So tune in tonight at 4, 5, 6, and after the game, not exactly 10. I think tonight is game 1 of the finals. So if you guys want to come poke fun at me on Facebook, I'm going for the Knicks. So we'll see who wins. All that to be said, though, hope you'll tune in tonight. I'm in for Brad, and we'll go over your 10-day forecast and everything you need to know.
All right, thank you, Jada. And the runoffs are right around the corner. We'll hear from 2 people fighting to be the Marshall County School Superintendent. And Fort Payne city leaders are talking about the possibility of AI data centers moving in, what they're doing to stay ahead of this. Stay with us after the break. Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the 48 Fastcast. Thanks for sticking with us. Earlier, we talked about the upcoming Senate runoff. There are a lot of important local races on the ballot, too, including the superintendent of Marshall County Schools. Incumbent Dr. Sidney Wigley is running against Dr. Clay Weber. Wigley is seeking a 4th term, having been in charge of Marshall County Schools since 2015. Wigley made it to the runoff, but her results on the May 19th primary show she has some work to do to win over voters. Wigley says her 3 terms should speak for themselves.
What I just want to do is communicate with the citizens of Marshall County and ask them to see through all the mudslinging, the lies, and insinuations, and vote for proven leadership, proven results over promises.
Wigley's competition, Clay Weber, is a lifelong educator. He's run his platform pushing for more transparency within the school system. He says voters have been asking to be more involved, and he plans to bring that change into the office with him.
I think from talking to people all across Marshall County and in every community, people are ready for change, and I think some of the reason that they want some change, some of the issues that we have heard from potential voters has to do with transparency. They want to know more about how their school system works. They want to know more about the inner workings, the business of Marshall County.
Those Republican runoff elections are scheduled for June 16th. Covering your community now in Fort Payne, where area leaders say they're preparing for the possibility of AI data centers coming in. Leaders say they want to plan ahead. The decision follows social media rumors about a data center in Birmingham. City Council President Todd Simpson says he wants to be proactive, knowing that data centers are unpopular. The council is putting together a plan to keep them far from homes and minimize their impact if they're going to be built in the city. Simpson believes data center builders will find Fort Payne to be a good location, and they want to be ready.
South of Chattanooga, east of Huntsville, about north of Birmingham, and then 2.5 hours from Atlanta. It just seems like it puts us in a great spot. We've got interstate with 3 exits. We've got rail, which is attractive to industries. So I think we're in a good spot, and I think there's some good property in our surrounding areas as long as it's in the right zone.
Simpson says quality of life for residents remain a priority, and they will discuss rules about noise levels, distance from neighborhoods, and environmental impacts. Now to Florence, where city leaders have approved construction for a new city hall. City leaders unanimously approved the resolution, and the planning process has already started. The new $42 million facility will sit on the northeast corner of Tennessee and Pine Streets. City leaders say they've explored options to offset costs, but they still feel it's the best solution. However, some in the community are not sold.
Investigate other ways to bear the weight of the cost. We only need space for 7 departments. At that number, it's $6 million per department. I'm not opposed to the city hall. I'm not. But because we don't have the information to make an informed decision tonight, I hope your decision on the mayor's proposal will be to wait.
It is time for us to move forward and be progressive and get this done. I hope that people will understand in time we are trying to do the best thing that we can do for this city.
Once a new city hall is built, the current building will be demolished and repurposed for public use. Good news for families across Alabama. More people may now qualify for WIC. State officials announced Tuesday that income guidelines for the WIC program have been raised. WIC provides eligible families with healthy food benefits, nutrition education, and support services. To qualify, participants must meet the new income limits and have a documented nutritional need. And in a few days, the state of Alabama's first medical cannabis clinic is opening in Montgomery. The Green Remedy opens Saturday, giving patients a place to begin the state's medical marijuana certification process. The clinic is structured like a typical doctor's office. Patients schedule appointments and are evaluated by licensed physicians before moving forward. The owner says the goal is to connect patients with qualified providers and make sure access is handled safely.
Chose this region because Alabama wanted it and the patients needed it. So we had so many inquiries as soon as the program was approved 5 years ago. And, all we could say was, sorry, we have to wait for the laws to be put in place. We have to wait for the program.
To book an appointment, patients will need to provide proof of diagnosis along with their medical history and records. Starting tomorrow, you can help kick off a Rocket City summer tradition that's now in its 12th year. Beer Garden is happening every Thursday this summer at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center. Stop by to enjoy live music and some authentic German food, all under the Saturn V. The series will continue until just before Halloween. It's free to enter, just pay for food and drinks. If you want to throw a few beers back for a good cause, head on down to downtown Huntsville today. Pints for Pals is happening at Green Bus Brewing. The fundraiser will host a block party and provide barbecue. All proceeds will go to the ALS Treatment Center of Excellence at Crestwood Medical Center. Last year, the community raised more than $50,000. The event will be from 4 to 8 p.m. Happening today, you're invited to join Fleet Feet in Huntsville for their Big Run 5K. The event at John Hunt Park is open to runners and walkers of all levels. Organizers say it's meant to bring the community together and celebrate the positive impact of movement. The race will begin at 6 p.m. Their next Big Run 5K is on June 6th at Adtran in Madison. So that's a lot of fun events for you all to go and check out and enjoy the community and everything that they're hosting going into the summer. And if you want your favorite local news, weather, and sports updates anytime, download the 48 Plus streaming app today. It is free, easy to use, and brings you live newscasts, breaking news, severe weather coverage, and 48 Plus exclusive content. Search WAFF 48 Plus on your favorite streaming platform and start watching for free today. And that will do it today for the 48 Fastcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to tune into our 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock newscasts. I'm your digital host, Tatiana White, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.